My beautiful, tormented soul, you're still waiting, aren't you? Still crafting the perfect text message that will make them explain. Still rehearsing conversations where they finally tell you why. Still believing that somewhere out there exists the magical combination of words that will make their leaving make sense. How fascinating. Your mind has convinced you that understanding their reasons will somehow heal the wound they left behind. But here's what I want you to consider, my dear wounded one. What if I told you that your desperate need for closure is actually the most beautiful evidence of your capacity to love? Think about it. This ache you carry, this endless searching for answers, it's your heart's way of honoring what you shared. Your soul refusing to let go without ceremony, without explanation, without meaning. You see, ordinary people accept ordinary endings. But you're not ordinary. You're someone who believes love deserves explanation, who thinks connection requires conclusion, who needs stories to have proper endings. And that's precisely why you're suffering so beautifully. Because the truth is, my sensitive creature, they can't give you what you're looking for, not because they're cruel, but because they don't possess it themselves. That conversation you're imagining, where they sit you down and explain exactly why your love wasn't enough, where they walk you through their decision-making process step by step, where they hand you a neat little package labeled, "Here's why we ended." It doesn't exist. People don't leave because of logical reasons they can articulate. They leave because of feelings they can't name, because of fears they won't admit, because of emptiness they can't fill. And you're asking them to become a philosopher about their own chaos. You're asking them to make sense of something that was never supposed to make sense. How absolutely precious, how wonderfully naive, how beautifully human of you to think love operates on logic. But here's what your brilliant mind is really doing with all this closure seeking. It's giving you something to focus on besides the terrifying truth that you have to rebuild yourself without their explanation. Because sitting with, "I don't know why they left," is too vast, too uncertain, too infinite in its possibilities. So you create this quest, this holy grail of understanding, this perfect answer that will somehow transform your pain into peace. But what if? What if the closure you're seeking isn't something they can give you? What if it's something you have to create for yourself? What if the real closure isn't understanding why they left, but understanding why you stayed so long asking for scraps of their attention? What if the real closure isn't getting their explanation, but realizing you don't need their permission to move forward? What if the real closure isn't them telling you what was wrong with your love, but you discovering what was right about it, even if they couldn't see it? You know what I think, my beautifully broken one? I think you're not really seeking closure about them. You're seeking closure about yourself. You want to know, am I lovable? Did I matter? Was any of it real? And you think their explanation will answer those questions. But here's the thing. They were never qualified to answer those questions in the first place. The person who left you doesn't get to define your worth. The person who couldn't see your value doesn't get to determine your lovability. The person who walked away doesn't get to decide whether what you shared was real. You do. So, stop asking them for closure, my dear seeker. Stop waiting for their explanation. Stop believing their silence is keeping you stuck. Create your own ending. Write your own conclusion. Give yourself the closure you're seeking. Tell yourself, I loved completely. I gave fully. I opened my heart despite the risk. And that is enough. Tell yourself, their inability to explain their leaving says nothing about my worth, and everything about their limitations. Tell yourself, I don't need their story to end mine. I don't need their words to write my next chapter. The closure you're seeking isn't in their explanation. It's in your acceptance that you may never get one, and that's not abandonment, my beautiful soul. That's freedom. The door they left open, close it yourself. The conversation they won't have it with yourself. The ending they won't give you, write it yourself. You don't need their closure to close this chapter. You just need your own courage to turn the page.